Good. So we will begin. Welcome. Thank you for sharing your Sunday with me. We're going to invite all the Divine Presence to be with us today. And perhaps just beginning by closing your eyes and focusing on your breath, centering in your own heart. And just settling in, returning to this moment. Allowing whatever noises, whatever is to be, whatever sound. And just finding that comfortable inner and outer space. Sensing a sense of comfort within the self. And perhaps allowing yourself to notice what your intention is today. Setting it and surrendering it to the universe, to God, grace, the divine intelligence. And allowing yourself to enter into your heart and placing that intention in that space for it to grow throughout the day and throughout this session today together. And entering the space of truth in the heart. The space where you recognize your own divinely guided truth. The place where you recognize your own divine guided wisdom. And allowing yourself to enter that space and placing the intention there. And perhaps in that silence and that calm and serene space, allowing yourself connected to the whole of the universe, the divine intelligence, grace, God, the basic goodness in all things, in all beings. Allowing yourself to return there as you inhale. And as you exhale, allowing yourself to ground in that space, centering there. Now we will begin our meditation. Beginning to notice the rise and fall of the breath. Simply observing the breath. And the spaces between the inhale and the exhale. Noticing the spaces between sounds and the spaces between thoughts. Noticing the openness and expansiveness within the breath. The place of the observer, of the part of you observing your breath, observing your thoughts, observing the sounds, and allowing the consciousness to rest as you observe either one or all of them. The space between the breath, the space between the thoughts, the space between the sounds. and sensing the center of your own heart as you do that. Allow the awareness to rest in the heart space, in the place of observing, in the place of presence. Letting go with every exhale, simply observing, sensing, allowing for the space between the sounds, between the breaths, between the thoughts. How can I observe without trying or doing? How can I relax just a bit more as I simply allow for space within my awareness as I observe what is here, as I sense what is here? Noticing the breath and the spaces between the breath, or the spaces between the sound, or the spaces within your own thoughts, resisting nothing, allowing all to be here. As you simply allow life to be what it is, as it is right now. Softening into being. Noticing the space within you, observing this moment. presence, the space. Noticing sounds or thoughts like clouds moving through the sky, allowing your awareness and presence to be like the sky, open and receptive to all that is here right now. Allowing yourself to surrender and allow, to soften and release. You can open your eyes if you like, returning. So I'm going to open it up now for questions and sharing of your experience today. Please, who would like to share, go ahead and unmute yourself. Not sure till when you guys heard. I wasn't aware that the microphone stopped. But no worries. Like I mentioned, next time we will be fully equipped with everything that we have to use here. But today we do have to do the class through the cell phone. And next time we will have everything set up accordingly. So for today's talk, I wanted to speak about restoring faith after a storm in life, or in difficulties that you may encounter. By storm, I mean the responses that we have to difficulties or difficult situations or difficult people, circumstances that we may encounter. I often consider the storms such as losses, or whether it's the loss of a relationship or the loss of a goal or the loss of a job for some, the loss of something that you value. So how we encounter these storms in life, these difficulties that might trigger difficult responses, such as the emotions of anger or sadness or grief. I love the imagery that we were given a while back in a meditation. If you've ever seen a dark storm with lots of thunder, where the sky is void of light, and the storm, the water, the rain is strong, and you're not able to see through the storm. At the moment that we may encounter difficulties, the storm seems to take over. In the moment of something that invokes anger or sadness or grief, we're not able to see through the storm at that moment. The clouds are too dark, the thunder too strong. The rain causes us to be blurry and we are not able to see. The moment when we are not able to see who we are, light within ourselves, it is in these moments that we are invited to remember who we are. It's in these moments that we can allow ourselves to remember that underneath the clouds of the stormy sky lays a beautiful blue sky or starry night. That we can allow ourselves to experience the difficulties of life and choose to see right through it. The teachings that we did today in our meditation, and those of you that were not able to hear the meditation fully, no worries. I will repeat the same meditation next week, more in depth. When we are not able to see, we can allow ourselves to remember the light, to remember the blue skies. But when the blue skies are not accessible in the outer world, they are accessible in the inner world. We become the clear blue sky. We notice the spaces between our own thoughts and the spaces within our own emotions of anger or sadness or other difficult emotions such as frustration, resentment, rage. It is useful to remember we are not the storm. We are not the thunder or the rain. We are the space that holds all of it. There is a space of calm, a stable space of presence within you that can be accessed at any point. The storms may show up in the reactivity of the body in response to life, the changes of the breath, the chemical changes that causes us to act in rage or sadness, frustration, anger. In that moment that the storm has begun, we can allow ourselves to let the dust settle by stopping. By literally stopping the body and allowing ourselves to be still, to return to the breath the best we can, to notice the sounds or the spaces between the thoughts. As we settle, we can make better choices as to how to respond to life. And by better choices, we mean responses that reflect who we truly are. That the words and the thoughts and the actions expressed through this being be in alignment with its true core, its deepest truth. And when we do not, to be kind and compassionate to ourselves and to others. I often remember Dr. Maya Angelou's quote of, and I am paraphrasing, when we know better, we do better. Perhaps at that moment we do not know what to do other than react, other than not be our highest and wisest self. So to be kind to ourselves when that occurs, and be kind to others when they forget. And it is hard, I know, sometimes. Allowing the storm to pass, the dust to settle. How do we do that? One of the offerings that I give here is through meditation. And I will speak of others in upcoming classes, such as chanting or prayer or walking. I want to offer two more today. Two other methods of returning after a storm, of restoring faith in the blue sky that is always here within you and in the world around you. The teaching of silence is key, which is what I am encouraging as I help you to focus in the space between the sounds and the words and thoughts, the sensations. Allowing for silence, settle the dust, and let the thunder and rain pass. That is one. Creating space for silence in your own life. However you can do that. Whether it is watching less TV, playing less video games, creating solitude, time for solitude, which is number 2. Fostering a friendship with yourself. Spending an hour during your day to be with you, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever your time allows. To return to this self, this body. What do I need? What does my body need? Has it eaten well today? Has it rested? What does my mind and my emotions need? Do they need to be heard? Is there something I need to release or receive? And making time for spirit, soul. How can I connect more deeply to my true inner core? Or the grace that is here? I believe that we make time for what truly matters for us. We are capable of doing that. When I was taking a yoga training several years ago, I had a dear friend who had 4 children, full-time job, was studying for the training, and was married. And she was able to make time for herself. She was a great teacher to me in that. In teaching you guys more about that. We make the time for what matters. Even if it's only in the shower, or 10 minutes, connecting to the sacredness of water, the silence, the space between the sensations of the drops against your body. Or returning to silence before going to sleep. Taking 5 minutes right before you take your rest to focus on the space between the breaths or the space between sounds, or the space between your own thoughts. Allowing for silence, for space, so that divine consciousness may enter. And more importantly, so that we could allow life to be as it is, not resisting what is here. Encountering whatever storm with grace. I've often loved that saying, to encounter a storm with grace. I believe that what that means is to have grace hold you through it. The grace that is here around you now. In the silence, in the air, it is here. And when the storm passes, as it will, and the blue skies return, that you rejoice and enjoy your life and connect with others and share it with the world. This deep joy, this clear sky that is always here within you. I am grateful for your presence today, and I will be seeing you next week, same time, better equipment. And I invite you to ask any questions that you may have before we close, and I will do my best to answer. Please go ahead and do that now if you like. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you'd like to share or have any questions. Good. So we'll live in silence then. I send you all my love and light, and I wish you all the best this upcoming week.
Thank you so much.
I will see you next week at 11 a.m. Eastern. Many blessings to all. A beautiful day, and thank you for showing up. Bye. Bye.